Did this Steelers loss cost them a trip to the AFC Championship?
I believe it did. I believe it did. And I can't even emphasize, I can't even measure the level of disgust that I feel right now. I had a wonderful weekend, but I'm in a very, very bad mood because my weekend was wonderful until yesterday when I watched the Steelers sit up there and just blow a game as far as I'm concerned.
People already know that from Twitter. All I saw was, no.
Exactly. I couldn't believe it.
Twitter was wild.
I just sit up there and say, these are the things that separate Big Ben Roethlisberger from being in that conversation with Aaron Rodgers, with Tom Brady, etc. He's leading the NFL in red zone interceptions. That's number one. Number two, you throw for 462 yards. You throw the ball 56 times. I'm looking at you and I'm saying, I don't care about the offensive lineman being blocked in the coverage where he ultimately ends up intercepting you. So as I'm concerned, that was going to be intercepted by Roby. Roby was all over Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown was not open. Now, he bobbled the snap, and I get all of that. But you are Big Ben Roethlisberger. You are an experienced individual. Throw the damn ball out of the end zone. Live to play another down. That wasn't fourth down, for crying out loud. I just find myself looking at him and scratching my head. And the reason why I'm so disgusted is because we all know that the New England Patriots, led by Tom Brady, is your kryptonite. But what is New England's kryptonite? It's their performance on the road this year. They haven't been stellar. That game with the Jets was tied at 13 before they pulled away. Earlier this year, they get beat up by Matt Patricia, who once coached in New England. They get beat up by Vrabel in Tennessee, who once coached in New England. We saw a tight game against Buffalo before they ultimately pulled away midway through the third quarter. The New England Patriots have not been stellar on the road for most of this season. So if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you know what your mission should have been? Kansas City is rolling. We only got 2 losses and a tie. They got 2 losses. We could end up getting the number 1 seed where they could come back to Heinz Field for a rematch from week 2 when they beat us, or we could go to Arrowhead Stadium for an AFC Championship game. But what we can do is avoid Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. And what do the Pittsburgh Steelers do? They lose this game. As a result, New England elevates to a top 2 seed in the AFC. And I'm saying, excuse me, there goes an AFC Championship game berth.
You're wrong, because first of all, they get New England, as you said, at home. Their destiny's still in their own hands. In fact, the other tough game they have next week, the Chargers, again, at home. The only game you look at the schedule, you go, ooh, is Saints on the road, right? Like, all right, okay, I get it. But in terms of the way you're going to match up with the Patriots, you're going to have to beat them anyway eventually if you want to get to the Super Bowl, likely. You got them. That's going to happen. Now, you look at why, like, did the Steelers cost themselves a trip to the AFC Championship game? I didn't think they were likely to get there anyway. I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs this year. It looks like I was wrong about that one. But the real issue is, at this point, they weren't willing to tell Le'Veon Bell that they wouldn't franchise him. They were so concerned with setting that precedent, with giving a player power, even for 5 minutes, that they decided, well, we will not go to the AFC Championship game this year. We won't win a Super Bowl this year. You say, well, it doesn't guarantee it one way or another. That's right. But football is fundamentally probabilistic. You can't, it's not like basketball. You have the best team, now you're going to win. All you can do is stack the deck in your favor. Now, for those who would say, well, they're better off without Le'Veon, chemistry, whatever, that's not what they thought. The Steelers thought they'd be better off with Le'Veon, which is why they were negotiating with him to come back. And when he tells them, if you agree not to franchise me, I'll come back, and they say no, so he doesn't come back, that proves that they thought they'd be better with him. They just didn't want to give up that power for the future. They didn't want to show other players, you can do that to us. And as a result, they lowered their chances of winning. Stephen A., without Le'Veon Bell on the field, he stretches the field, in fact, because you got to account for him. So deep threats of Antonio Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster are not the same because I like Connor a lot. He's a good back. He ain't Le'Veon Bell. Let's stop.